It's 7:01. I'm calling the meeting to order. We have four commissioners here. Commissioner Conley is not going to be here tonight. So we have a quorum and we'll start with the meeting. Anybody online? I don't think so, right, Jennifer? Okay, no citizens are in the room, so no citizens for the commission. First item of business, approval of meeting minutes of March 17th, 2025. A motion to accept.
Make a motion.
For a second,
I'll second.
any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 And I abstain because I wasn't at the meeting. The motion passes. Okay, Jennifer. How am I doing now compared to Paul?
You're
Ahead of the game. That's my goal today, boy.
Yeah, so just updating, we're filling up the wait lists right now. All the other places are full for the season. I think probably all of you saw that the parking stickers got misprinted, so we've informed everybody to just use them backwards for this year. One guy did call me today. I just wanted to run it by you before I did it. He applied for Flats and Beaches mooring back in January, but he has sold his boat and he's not going to get a new one, and he wanted to know if he could get a refund.
What is our policy? Don't tell anybody this, if at all. Our policy of mention. Say it again. What was it, this situation?
He has a Flats and Beaches mooring. He signed up for it early, like the end of January. He sold his boat. He's not getting it. So he wants to.
I'm totally good, but I'm not good at policy. That's we should.
Lots of beaches are a little bit different, right? Finite amount of slip spots.
Yep.
As long as we got it, it's fine.
I don't have a problem with that. I find them distinctly different than the orange permits. That's something you could give to somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I personally don't. David, you got a thought?
No, I'm okay with it.
Fine by us. Yeah. I think we just, if it comes up again in a year or two, we all have to remember that we did this, you know what I mean? And we did discuss, this is not the same as our North Code.
Right. Yeah.
And it is.
Okay, I will call him tomorrow and go.
You good?
The budget is proceeding what it is. That's all I have. One has questions.
David, any questions?
Yeah.
Ladders good? Want to put on that?
They are
You might as well do the bulletin board at the same time.
they're 90%. We put them in last Friday. Just we were running out of high tide, so the lower brace was underwater. So we just need to cut off the lower braces and screw a light bolt there. So kind of cheap. Great for that, right? They look good.
And we're probably going to be invoiced like the next meeting.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Bulletin board?
Yeah, so I think kind of a proposal for that. I should have got it. $1,100. He's charging him out. So.
Who's that from?
From Bill remodeling.
Same guy as
Same
doing
guy.
the ladders?
Yeah. And he's saying the middle of May kind of brand. Well, I'm about to do it.
Great.
What was that? For a bulletin board.
Oh,
One side is gonna, yep. So the plexiglass on one side and for quarters.
I'm gonna make a Gonna make a motion that we approve
I think previous meeting we approved up to 2,000. Already.
well, why don't we vote on this one quick,
Okay.
just, yeah. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, Bill's remodel and repair LLC's proposal to build a bulletin board for $1,100 at the North Cove, Town Dock, Sheffield Street Town Dock. Second. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Passes unanimously. Anything else? Want to talk about that? All right, next item is mine. Last year, John Mason was kind enough to make a flyer up for North Cove in a different format of our welcome flyers. I'm proposing that we use this one for our flyers that we hand out, that we stuff in the mailboxes or the bulletin board and what we put on the website. So at least they're all consistent. Right now, they're, I don't know exactly. I just want this one to be the entire one. All right, the final one. You guys had a chance to look at it. I made a few changes, if I can remember them, or Jennifer and I made some changes. Instead of yellow ribbons, we've got yellow tags. I think we brought the non-town ones down to 3. We did not put in the moorings in the river. The Scott has not secured those yet. He assures me he's going to find something. It's an old, like, truck engine. I'm making a joke.
You didn't get the mushrooms over at the long line.
He has not secured those yet. So I left those out here, but I mean, all we're talking about doing is just printing out more and it changes. That's something we should know. Oh, yeah, I changed the mooring field depths and just took an average of 5 to 7 feet up the cove, just to warn people that, it's certainly not 12 feet out there anymore. Okay. Probably is it. I'm going to make a motion to approve the revised flyer. You keep on reading, Rob, much as you want to. And you just let me know when you're satisfied with it or not satisfied with it. We make a motion to approve the flyer that has been submitted in our submitted in our meeting packet. Yes, that's the best way to describe it, right? Is there a second?
I'll second. There you go. Yeah, a second.
Any discussion? David, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, next one's you.
Good, yep. So I took a crack at answering all the questions on the form. No, not proud of my authorship, so if anyone has suggestions, I have a better wordsmith some of the descriptions. What's kind of funny is where they, for the boats, what I've heard segregated the boats, the number of vessels by loaded vessel draft, and then it's like 4 to 5 feet, 5 to 6 feet. That's the only place where you can put in your information of how many boats we have. It just seems silly, but I counted up on moorings. You have 96 sailboats, and I've got the 34 boats from 9 to 10 feet. I use as the boats on the clothesline, and all the rest are power boats. That's the best way I can try to build this form.
I lived here, I think it was 30. Great.
Isn't it? Number of vessels loaded by vessel draft, so aren't these numbers correct? In terms of those power boats to be like,
Oh, do you think it's a depth?
yeah. Not the line,
But loaded vessel draft, you know what? That's, thank you for doing it. Let me break. Because I think we have on the spreadsheet, it does have the draft of the boats, right? Yeah, all right. So let me go back and redo that.
You have that spreadsheet?
Yes. That would make a lot more sense. Big total does that.
So you'll just revise this. The other thing, and this is just so minor, if you look at the private facilities thing, services provided, I would check the public access box.
You're on the second page. Private facilities, public access.
Yeah, I think that's fairer than, just going away from offset and not showing anybody's time. So I can't remember what happens with this now. If you ever revise one of these, do I give it to him?
So you came to the meeting when you weren't here.
Yeah,
Correct. But this came directly from the court, right?
Well, he asked if we can fill this out and get it back to him. I think he would submit it, my impression. And that kind of gets the ball rolling.
Oh,
he
okay.
needs like this information to help go to the next
Oh,
step for us.
sure. I thought it was the court asking us, but I could be wrong.
the core form.
Well, it was the guy from the court, he asked for it back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the court wants this form and he was asking, I think he's gonna submit it for us. Then,
I can't remember, but didn't he need it so that he could then arrange for them to come out? That's what he needed.
and start the survey
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. And I recollect the email saying.
I'm assuming, came from me. So I have to go read it, see what it came. And that all the court information is copied on. I would see. Whoever was on that. I said that we responded to the court, I'm pretty sure that's what I said. And if he gets a copy of it, just as effective on it as.
Yeah, you do both, yeah, get him a copy.
That's what I'm saying.
What are you talking?
When you keep on saying he was here, you're talking about I can't remember his name from the court.
Right,
But he was, the Port Authority guy didn't send us this form, the Army one.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Port Authority guy was asking to submit it on our behalf.
No, this will go back to the Army Corps guy who asked for
So
it, right?
if it
That's what
came-
you thought, Lou, right?
yeah, but he said this is the next step in the process, so. But whether he's gonna do it first.
All right.
But yeah, we could give him a copy so he's got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So make a motion that we approve the harbor information and navigation metrics form that we drafted with two exceptions, one being a check mark under North Cove Yacht Club for public access, and second to redo the type of vessel chart.
By draft and
Right. And also,
What was the first thing that? it's been
there's a box on page 2 that talks about private facilities. And a box that under the North Cove Yacht Club that says public access. Any further discussion? David, you good?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimous. That specification for upgrades. That was my, that was my item that I might talk about very briefly. We have decided that drafts of 4.5 feet is the new minimum, right? It's the new maximum, I should say. What we didn't talk about specifically was someone is going to upgrade a vessel. Are they limited to 4.5 feet? Existing or doing upgrades?
I think, well, the intent of it is to keep folks around, you know, this is that if they upgrade it for a new, right? If there's still the same intention behind it.
I'm going through another scenario into
Yeah.
you know, not, and I'm not trying to be difficult because I was just thinking of what's fair. And say the guy has a 6-foot draft, buys a boat with a 5-foot draft.
Yeah,
That's fine.
well, it's not because we say.
There you go.
Oh, that's it.
I don't want to make it too complicated, but it would seem that if you're replacing like to like, is that okay or not okay? Let's say 5'5" to 5'5" buys a different boat, but they're still at 5'5". We're in a worse position. We're certainly in a better position.
Yeah, interesting.
You know, it hasn't come up yet, but there were a couple of like, you know, like shots over the bow of people that we knew upgraded. It turns out that the boats were very conservative draft wise. The one or two that I'm thinking of, but
Yeah, I would think it, as long as they're not getting deeper, or same or less draft, wouldn't have an objection to it.
but if they are getting deep, if they're limited to 4.5, they're going from collar to sail.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they should have the same. They should have the same criteria.
So only if they're gonna have a deeper draft than what they have.
And by the way, I sent a letter out that said the 4.5 will apply upgrades to it. And the welcome letter that everybody will care about, obviously.
That's not what we're saying right now.
Correct. That's what brought it up. At first I thought, yeah. I thought that, you know, frankly, I asked Paul and he was mushy on it and I was mushy on it. So that means I wanted to clarify here.
Yeah. That is a tricky one. But they're kind of, I mean, doesn't change your situation if they're equal. It's 4.5.
Everybody's grandfather.
Yeah, they kind of have that. It's what it is.
I personally think that's a fair way to do it. You know. I think we should probably send out an email to the mooring holders, make sure they understand. Again, fairness. They're supposed to tell us anytime they're going to upgrade, and we can say no, but practicality is that sometimes don't.
Do you want me to draw something and show it to you? And then
Sure, or you want, it depends how busy you are. I'm not that busy, but I shouldn't say I'm waiting rations, but I think I'm not busy, but I feel like. We'll see who gets to it first. Ferry road dredging.
Ferry road dredging. I actually made a little bit of progress here. Well, it's not a ton, but I just put something together describing and gave David, I can send you a
So
copy.
you're just getting closer.
Skip things. All hit every item on the list.
I'll come back to close one, trust me. Better not be a long discussion.
We can keep it real short. Just describing like what we are looking to achieve in this I put it as an RFP. I don't know if we need to make it more formal, not more formal, but I just wanted, if I'm going to send it out to a couple of firms, try and express interest, coastline's interested, coastline's probably a pretty good price considering we're doing all the work right next door. And we can also dock those ones of similar size. Send it out, but just to make sure everyone's kind of playing by the same rules.
Yep.
Kind of what we're. The second page is probably the more interesting, because that really just shows the area of interest for dredging. And one thing, David, I have on here for a dredge depth of 4 feet plus 1 foot of over dredge.
That's fine.
I figured if we can always dredge less if we wanted to. We don't have to dredge to the full 4 plus 1, but at least we have it.
Right.
Yeah, and 4 plus 1 would give us a number of years before we would need a second dredging done. The footprint, I extended it. I don't know how this is going to go. I drew it just. Let's say this marine over here goes defunct. We still want like an access way to these slips, but that I believe crosses our property line of their property. So I don't know how exactly that will play out in the permitting phase. If we need permission from them or what. Similarly, we don't have the depths on here, obviously, yet, but I'm certain that it exceeds beyond the 4 foot depth at some point here, like where we're at. We can find the draw footprint bigger than that. Should it ever shallowly, you know, that ability to dredge.
Rob, do you think these two pieces of paper are sufficient to send out? Just to do this? I'm not questioning it, I'm just.
I simply put it together as like guidance for somebody preparing a proposal, not really thinking of it as a true RFP. I called it an RFP, but if we want to put more formal language to it to make it a formal RFP, I think that's fine as well. But I can take the word RFP out. You know, pull the text right out, drop it in an email and send it to them. But I just wanted the same kind of description of information.
But do you think the words are enough for this? Again, I'm not questioning it.
Yeah. I think it's enough for somebody to prepare a proposal based on. Like they're going to look at this, they'll know where the facility is, they know what we're looking to achieve. I broke it out to like 2 phases. But just doing the site investigation work up front, which what we discussed about, like a survey, collecting the samples, analyzing the samples. And that's kind of its own line item. So at that point, we might find they're incredibly dirty and we know we can't get rid of them except for object or something super expensive. You know, we can call it at that point and say, never mind, we're not going to pursue this any further or proceed on to the next phase, which would be the actual permitting phase.
My recollection of the procurement specifications are, we're not required to do any sort of competitive bidding for architectural and professional services. Architectural engineering services. If we want to turn this into a town document, I'd be happy to do that.
Honestly, if it's easier, just pull the information out of that email, send it. As long as everyone's comfortable with that.
You want to do that then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying you have who it's going to go to.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've got 2 out of the 3, but Titan, I don't know. Yeah, let's get a price from Taco too.
Yeah.
Let's get something from Taco also. Then we go through, look at, and we can do a qualitative / quantitative review of it. And go from there. You good with that, David?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Great. Good, nice work, bro.
Small steps. Small steps.
Much quality, bro.
Nah, just meetings.
Additional slip, David?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That was a hard time hearing. On that boat slip, I went down there again today. I don't know if any of you guys went down to ever look at it at low tide, but I went down around lunchtime, and it is really probably the worst I've ever seen it. It is really low in there. My gut feeling is I think we should probably hold off doing anything in that spot until we can get some dredging in there. I don't think it's going to be worth doing, mainly because even if we are able to get it in, the people using it will probably not be happy. So my suggestion at this point is maybe we should just shelve it for now and address it maybe either after the dredging. And I had a question of Rob. Is there any way to find out when the South Yard is going to do any dredging? Have they applied for any dredging? Are you aware of them doing anything with Deep?
We saw the permit or their permit came in, so they have a permit to dredge. They're gonna, if they haven't dredged this year, their window for dredging probably opens sometime October, November. Of the fall. They can't dredge in the summer, which is prohibited.
Okay, so they're
Yes, but I don't know who exactly. We could probably ask Coastline whether how much they want to share, but if they're able to share when they actually plan to dredge.
When you looked at their dredging, did you look at their dredging permit? Does it include the area where we are, or are they just dredging for where the barges are going in?
No, they're dredging the whole. They have the permit to dredge the whole area, right up to almost to the foot of our docks.
Okay. And you're suspect that will possibly be this October?
Possibly. It depends on them, right? Like they're
Yeah.
for 3 years. And it depends when they need to do it.
You know, if that is a positive effect on ours, and the following year we could move forward with the floating dock.
I don't have a problem calling Mark Calvarell and asking, tell me or not tell me.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. But right now with Ferry Road, the bigger issue we have is our water system. I looked at it a couple of times, and we got at least three or four visible leaks that are going to have to be addressed. And what also happened is there's a check valve to prevent water from flowing back into the pipeline, and that fell into the water. We were able to retrieve it. It's an expensive part. I remember talking to Scott, and he thought it was over $1,000 part. I don't know if it's going to be any good because it was been sitting in the brackish water. So we need to get somebody down there to do to fix it. And I'm not sure is Scott available, or is he flat out now running around?
I don't think there's any other question. Middle of that.
Yeah, until we get some warnings in, but
Maybe I'm pushing it too far when you say middle of May, but something's going to come up after North Cove too. You know, would it help to get a plumber down there, David? Or
Yeah, I don't. We used to use Patterson, and I don't know if those people are still around. Does anybody know if they're still around?
can look and see who we paid the last time we had work done there.
Yeah, Jennifer, if you can get me that, I can give them a call, or we'll have to try, just as soon stay with them if we can get them to, get down there and do the repairs. I met with another fella, down there. They can do it, but I don't think they're really crazy about doing it. So, we might be better off using the one whoever we used in the past, at least to get it fixed for the season.
Yeah, does it always break because it's like rigid plastic? Like, why is it?
What's causing most of it is the fact that the water line is underwater and going in and out with the tides. And it's on a shelf. It's on one. Don't know really how to describe it. We got a couple issues with it. One, they use some galvanized hangers, which just rust to nothing. And it's also being affected by the tides coming in and out. Plus, I'm not sure that it was properly winterized, because we've just got more breaks this year than we've had in the past. And it was a relatively mild winter. So, but at this point, really the system probably should be underground. But at this point, I think we just need to get it fixed and keep taking a look at it and see if we can get somebody who can go down there and redo the whole thing at some point. I think we'd be better off spending money on the system right now than putting money into a dock that may not be usable.
We hear about it every year about this time, with various degrees. So maybe we take this summer to figure out what we can do and try to fix it over the winter.
Yeah, I think the guys down there are going to be more concerned about the water than they are about having another dock down there. So I can try the people that we've used in the past and see if we can get somebody to get down there and get it fixed.
Do you mind, like, a little bit working with David?
Yeah, sure.
If you get so hold of them over the plumber, maybe we can take a look at it too.
Yeah, I agree. If we can bring it up shoreside, so it's not hanging over in the water, exposed to debris, trees, floating, bumping into it, banging it up.
I would appreciate that. I know you're doing an awful lot here too, but.
Yeah, Dave, you want to let me know when you're going to meet with them down there? I'm happy to walk it with you.
Okay.
Some ideas.
Yeah, no, I'll reach out to you and then we can take another look at it. And in the meantime, I'll try to get a hold of Scott or get a hold of these plumbers and see if we can get somebody down there to get started on it, because we're going to be running out of time.
Denver's gonna get you the name who we used before. Who's gonna go down there with you? If I run into Scott also, just ask him what he knows about it. I don't think he's gonna be available to go down there, at least in the next 2 weeks. A week and a half. I just, he doesn't have a morning in yet right now. I think the weather's good, which is good.
Yeah, it's a good week coming up.
Okay, next one is Harbor Master report. Bob, I need a brief report from you. This is when I found out he's not coming today. Okay, mooring will be in by May 1st. I will get signed from the sign company in 4x4s and get signs up for Welcome to North Cove. Float is down at Town Dock and ramp is on. So he's optimistic. He's going to need it. He's inspecting moorings. All we can do is see how he makes out. I intend to try to put some eyes on it over the weekend or when I know he's down there, just to see how he's doing, see if there's any reason for concern.
Yeah, so I've got all of his stakes laid out, his range mark stakes.
Oh, good.
So
Good, well, right,
They're not in the water yet, but he's got them there. You know.
got it. Okay, communications. Go through it. What did you see? We got a letter from Rob Schickel. Rob Schickel is working with that guy that's on the Oyster River there. I can't think of his name. David and Barbara Coben. Holden. He came in here and talked to us, whatever. He's basically saying nothing's changed from what he gave us previously. Then, don't know if this is a special, is this on the agenda, the, Northwest proposal? Oh, it was. Part of correspondence, but did everybody see the Northwest proposal dated April 8th, 2025? Same Northwest is the guys doing all the landscaping work. Paul was extremely happy with him. My observation looks good. His, his an expert as Paul is on this, but this proposal of $540 by memory. It's an increase of I think $36 over last year. I just think we formality just approve this revised proposal. The guy's been doing good work, conscientious. I recall he was the lowest bidder 2 years ago. I don't see any reason to go out to bid. Nobody have any objections to what I'm saying? In fact, I could probably sign this and authorize it. I'm going to make a motion that the commission authorize me to sign the Northworks proposal for landscaping work dated April 8th, 2025. For a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's you.
Copy back.
First. And there's a series of letters about we just I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through this. You recall that there was a bill that we sent a letter in on, if I recall, a letter of support. Certainly gave it to Devin Carney, said he was going to pursue it also on the revision to the Harbor Management Act. Because of that judge's decision in Norwalk or somewhere down that way, that the Harbor Management Commission Association feels is impinging upon their rights. It appears from all of this back and forth that's in all these emails that Paul sent. It's as simple as it appears DEP has submitted a counter proposal, and these guys are nervous it's going to get accepted. It's not what they want, so they're going to withdraw the amendment. That's the way I'm reading this. So I kind of feel we're kind of just an observer on this, but I wanted to bring it up to you. If you have any more of an interest, you want to read through all this stuff, that's what I think it says. All right. Weren't they roll over? You know? Any other requests? None? When we get back to talk about those lines, you brought it up.
I just wanted to know that you.
No, you were good. But without calling you, I don't know what there is to,
I wrote nothing on that.
yeah.
We're good. Nor behind schedule.
We are behind schedule. I have like two things to do.
It'll be a record for Bob.
They will be. Yeah, my personal best.
All the hard.
Yes. There's a LWRD license application form in the packages. Rob's looking at it there. It's actually for Saybrook Point. That Lou and I have been involved in on a non-commission basis. What the basis is, I don't know. It's a consultant, I guess, to the town, you know, but there's a lot of work that's gone into it, and that's the permit to fix, essentially fix the seawall and subsequently build sidewalks on top. And
We're
we're
like rebuilding that deck, that. Interesting.
yeah, I mean, just of interest, you know, I'm bringing in. This is a revised permit, they had a pre-consultation form with you. The original plan was to take the deck out, put a retaining wall underneath where the deck is. If you look at where the wall, where the riprap is, it actually cuts inward. It might be U-shaped.
Yeah.
We were gonna put a retaining wall in there and fill, and basically reduce it now. Not putting in a retaining wall, but that's some sort of water diversion structure or something of those words, and like, really, you know, really, yeah, okay, that's a rule, it's a rule, but you know, it just seemed to make sense. So the deck went back in. I think there's going to be discussions on whether or not the deck is actually going to be built or not. But feeling is to put it in for now. Think about it. One thing that DEP definitely said, it's just general interest, is all the derelict docks have to come out. Fine. I don't think anybody had any thoughts. There were some thoughts a couple of years ago about rebuilding that. Down the local Facebook or it's releasing else. It's one. It's going to
Public hearing.
that was all a joke, obviously. There's one item I want to talk about in your business, but I'll just take them all off. We're all getting the regular Amtrak River Bridge updates. You and I should make some time and take a look at those plans again. And speaking of Amtrak, where those access roads are and everything else based on my driven right by that area. You know, mile-an-hour inspection. The train is going up, to see if there's any other way to get out of those. But one thing I will say, those structures they're putting in there are big. And they are going to withstand. One thing is left in Old Saybrook after a hurricane, it's going to be those temporary structures. You know, it's almost a waste. I mean, they're going to, and I don't know if they could be used for anything. Any trying to come to the fall or something. Alternative. How to get out there. Ordinance change, frankly, with the police chief switching. We'll start over when we got it, but in the one approaching, I think we missed the ordinance. Take responsibility for that. The dredging, nothing. Kayak subcommittee. I don't know if what I'm going to talk about is 100% straight on here, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. unless someone has an objection. There's no decisions that can be made or whatever. I got a call from Between the Bridges South Yard, how close to a month ago, that they had set of metal racks that were used for mass storage. And it was from Mark Caldwell, his brother Carl, who was the owner, that said they wanted to donate them to the public. They seem to be suitable, very suitable for kayak racks. So I started communicating a little bit with Paul, talked a little bit with Lou. We really aren't in the kayak business except at our own facilities, and we don't have the physical space for these things. They're big, they're heavy, you know. So my initial thought was Park and Rec. They seem to be a more suited organization for those on a non-harbor commission activity. So I called Public Works. I arranged it. I talked to Bill Claffey. He was kind enough to go down there, load it in my truck and brought it over down the road. So we've secured that. He said we can keep it as long as we want. In fact, if you don't find a home for them, they're because they're
Pipe storage.
Yeah,
They can store a pipe or whatever.
whatever it is, they're not going to go to waste. Last week or the week before, I went to a Park and Rec meeting. I did a little scoping around on Founders Park, found a couple of sites above the water line. I actually talked to Rob a little bit about it too, about what the requirements would be, and he refreshed me on it. I don't think any requirements are going to be involved. Just said, hey, I did this to make sure I wasn't wasting anybody's time and gave it to Park and Rec. And they accepted them and they're running with it. Cool. So Susan Esty was going to go down and looking at it. There's two things that I'd like to do to wrap this up. One, I owe a call to Bill Clappy and basically say thank you for doing it, and that we should be very proud. I'm coming to hand off with him. And second, I'd like to write a letter to Between Bridges and say thank you for your generous donation. I don't think I need a motion. Do you have any objections that I do? That's it. Video surveillance, nothing. Harbor management plan without Paul here. The only thing is that Jennifer and I both independently all created some shared document somewhere, some drive that we can all work in seconds. Jennifer and I both tested it and we could get into it. So we at least have a minor infrastructure that facilitate a joint multiple reviewers. Installation of that's yours, discussion of potential installation of guide files.
Yeah, so I did tell those guys to proceed with the permitting coastline. So they should be working on it.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I signed it. So, didn't I?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, Paul, now we're lost without Paul, right? It's name of the bills. This is when I usually just sit back and go, it's not my problem anymore.
There's one extra.
Oh, toaster.
Got 10 minutes.
This is not going to take 10 minutes unless I gave the chokes right at the end. I'm going to make a motion today, online morning,
No.
take from online morning. Right? There's problem. Make a motion to pay market sales and use tax return in the amount of $40. Make a motion to pay an invoice for online mooring of $77. Make a motion to pay Saybrook Hardware $17.18. Make a motion to pay toward the water bill $42.22. For the Sheffield Street dock. $69.01. For the Clark Street Ferry Road public dock. And another payment to Saybrook Hardware for $75.92 for marking paint and marking materials. For Scott, I believe, in Northfield. During the discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just a point of information before we turn this over to the board. I'm going to be gone from May 5th to probably like May 23rd. So if you're looking for me, I'm not in. Okay. David.
Actually, I got one more thing.
Oh, sure.
Jim. Looking at, now if you told me that this is more about draft size, for sailing crafts, since this is recreational, do we include the junior sailing fleet at Park Cove? The boats, less than a 4-foot draft.
Yeah, they use the harbor.
So
And the boats, right? And
the whalers and the,
Yeah.
yeah, we have Opties, 420 whalers.
Yeah, sure. I think that's what they're looking for. I think that's the spirit of what that form is how many boats are used. Yeah, they clearly do. And in the stats, by the way, you're only including one, including flats and beaches. We're going to look forward to studying this. It's certainly the spirit of it's not another 200 boats. Right? I mean, these are going to be sized.
Yeah, it's gonna add like 30 more boats.
The flats and beaches.
Well, yeah, beaches don't matter, but how many boats in the
flats?
flats do we have? That's a different list, right?
It is, I can get it for you, and I don't know off the top of my head, because the flats and beaches are like, some of them are in like the river and flats, and some of them are in the beaches, so I have to like sort the list to be able to break that out.
I mean, I can take a guess. Yeah, they're gonna be less than a 2-foot draft and there's,
You can pull up like an old Google Earth image, just count, because there's gonna be all the docks all the way around on the road with all the boats on it.
yeah, so that'll be more boats than for flats.
David, here you are.
All right, Bob, this is a record for you.
Personal best.
I will make a motion.
After you make the motion, David, okay?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:57.
Second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you much.